welcome to Spirits TV for We Care. My name is Hemant Mundkur and I'm your Bacardi brand ambassador. First of all, a big thank you to Spirits Magazine and HivePA for organizing this amazing initiative specifically designed for the hospitality community of India. My name is Hemant Mundkur and I'm the brand ambassador for Bacardi India, and I'm proud to host this session just for you. Today, we're going to talk about Bacardi rum, the world's #1 rum brand, available in over 180 plus countries around the world. Bacardi rum began its journey in 1862 as a legacy, but it was before that when Don Facundo Bacardi Maso immigrated from Spain to Cuba and started working as a wine merchant. He eventually found his way to creating the world's best rum. He spent about 10 years in perfecting that recipe. It wasn't easy. He had to work through different recipes. He had to use different types of sugarcane, different forms of yeast, and eventually he defined 4 different steps to create Bacardi rum for what it is today. These 4 steps continue to be used today. The first step being the use of a single yeast strain called La Levadura. This is what truly defines the essence of Bacardi rum. The second is the use of a parallel distillation process, creating a heavy rum base and a light rum base. Third was putting that rum into oak barrels, white American oak barrels, for anywhere between 1 year and above, hence creating a specific flavor profile that he wanted to achieve during the maturation period. And lastly is the charcoal filtration, hence giving out this smooth, clean rum that the world could enjoy. And hence, in 1862, the legacy of Bacardi was born in Santiago de Cuba, a Cuban rum loved by the locals and over the next 100 years was loved by the world. Today, Bacardi rum is the leading rum brand around the world, but specifically, you might know Bacardi rum as the brand such as the Bacardi Carta Blanca, you have the Bacardi Carta Oro or the Bacardi Black. These are the kind of rums that people generally enjoy with, say, cola or with a juice or a mixer to make some really tasty, refreshing summer drinks, or even the mojito or the daiquiri. But today we're going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to introduce you to Bacardi Reserva Ocho 8-year-old. This was created originally by Don Facundo himself, and it was used as a family reserve, as we call it. For 7 generations, this rum that you see right here, that you're able to find in bars, restaurants, and even your local liquor stores, used to be only available to the Bacardi family. But today, is available everywhere. They were kind enough to allow us to sample it as well. When you talk about the Bacardi Reserva Ocho, we're talking about time spent in the barrel for anywhere between 8 years to 10 years. We age these rums in the Caribbean islands, hence experiencing tropical aging. In tropical aging, it is almost a maturation period which is, say, 3 times faster than that of what you find in Scotch whiskey. The flavors become more mature. Of course, there is evaporation that takes place much faster, and hence you get a rum that is so flavorful, tasty, and of course with those really nice oaky notes coming through. Bacardi Reserva Ocho, which is the 8-year-old that we have right here, is what we're going to sample at first before we make a couple of cocktails with it. So, looking at the color, it's got this beautiful, recognizable, like almost medium to dark amber golden color. When we take it to the nose, immediately I get these oaky characteristics. As I go in for a second sniff, it's opening up a little bit, Feel free to add a splash of water or maybe a cube of ice to chill it a little bit. Drink it the way you like, I would say, if you're sampling or really want to appreciate the flavors of the Bacardi Ocho rum. I'm also getting a little bit of that butterscotch, a little bit of that beautiful leather notes, and lastly, you get a little bit of fruity notes such as apricot and tropical notes. Of course, because it's a Caribbean rum, so we're looking at a little bit of banana as well. I'm going to take a sip because this is so tempting. As soon as it hits the palate, extremely smooth, touch of sweetness, and as it goes to the back, I almost don't feel anything. It's almost like drinking water. But yes, that warmth of the spirit is always there. And that's what we want in a spirit, right? A little bit of that oaky characteristic coming through. It's got a nice deep finish that works really well in cocktails like an old fashioned. And we're going to make a couple of those today. If you're looking for a long drink with lots of ice, a little bit of effervescence from a sparkling drink like, say, a ginger ale or a soda water, I'm going to make you my very first drink with the Bacardi Reserva Ocho, which is the Ocho Highball. A drink that you can enjoy at home with your friends, out at a bar, and just basically wind down and relax. A really refreshing drink. This drink is made in a highball glass, as the name suggests, with a lot of ice and lengthened with ginger ale and a squeeze of lime. So let's start making it. I've got in my fridge a highball glass which is chilled and ready to be mixed in with. So there you go, a nice chilled highball glass. We're going to pour ourselves 50 ml, that's 50, of the Bacardi Ocho. Next, currently where I'm living, which is in Delhi, it's quite warm. Even though it's got a little bit of rain, there is still that humidity, so it's still quite warm out there. So I'm going to ensure that I use a lot of ice. But that's just me. I would recommend it for you too. Keep in mind, more the ice, the less the dilution, the longer the drink stays cold. Ginger ale to top it up. Next, we're going to squeeze in a wedge of lime. This will really give the freshness to the drink. And personally, it kind of cuts down the sweetness of the ginger ale and balances out the drink perfectly. A quick stir to ensure all of this is mixed together. And a simple garnish of a lime wedge, which if you want can be squeezed in later if you want more acidity to the drink. So that's really simple. Refreshing with your group of friends at home. Got some music in the background. You want to bust a dance move. Do that while you sip on this highball with your friends. But then again, perhaps you're looking for a more sipping style of cocktail. That's when I would introduce you to the Ocho Old Fashioned. Everybody's heard of an Old Fashioned. Usually made with whiskey, stirred gently over ice with bitters and sugar. But have you ever tried a rum Old Fashioned? A rum Old Fashioned, specifically Bacardi Reserva Ocho? Let me show you how it's made. The method, process is pretty much the same as how you would make an Old Fashioned with whiskey. However, in terms of taste and flavor, is completely different. And I'll tell you how it's done. We're going to start off with a mixing glass. Okay? We're going to take in, I've got a sugar cube here, so I'm just going to add 1 sugar cube, that's perfect, for 1 portion of this drink. Next, we're going to drizzle down that sugar with about 3 dashes of Angostura aromatic bitters. Next, just make sure that you muddle down that sugar. I usually add a splash of water or soda, so in this case I've used a little bit of water. Now this will allow that sugar to get mixed in really well and dissolve into the mix. Of course, you're going to need to strengthen that drink with 60 ml of the Bacardi Ocho 8-year-old. And then I'm just going to gently allow this to dissolve. There you go. I can see all that sugar slowly dissolving. You might need a little bit of time to mix that together. Don't worry. When you talk about an old-fashioned, they say that a good old-fashioned should take a couple of minutes. So give it a lot of love and care. Make sure a bit of your soul is in that drink, as a lot of bartenders here say. A lot of ice cream goes into the glass, and then you stir it gently. This is basically going to, of course, dilute the drink and mix all of those ingredients together. The rum, the sugar, the bitters. You know, the original cocktail definition back in 1806 was defined in this publication that defined it as a stimulating liquor consisting of spirit, sugar, water, bitters, and was called the bittered sling. But in a way, it was also the old-fashioned because you're using a spirit such as a rum or a whiskey, but in this case we're using the Bacardi Ocho rum. I've got a chilled glass that would be ideal for this kind of drink. I'm filling up with ice all the way to the top, and I'm going to strain this mix. Perfectly there, and just move that ice around so that it settles down. Oh, yeah, perfect. And then a garnish would be important. Just sprinkle an orange peel. Now those beautiful oily notes from the skin will pass on into the drink, and as soon as you pick up the glass and nose it, you get this really nice fresh notes of orange. So what we've got here are two really simple drinks with one of the best-selling rums in the world. Something that I would like you to go out into the bar and sample and maybe try yourself one of these cocktails. Or even if you're a person who enjoys a drink such as the Ocho neat, you can do that as well. Perhaps a cube of ice or a splash of water. Thank you so much everyone for being a part of this live session with We Care. It's been an absolute pleasure hosting this, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you in person in your bars, sipping a drink with you and friends, of course. So a big shout out to everyone, including Spirits Magazine and IFBA, for organizing this amazing platform specifically for the hospitality sector. Cheers and have a very, very good day.
Hello and welcome. I'm Harish, Acharekar, the Trade Ambassador of Bacardi Portfolio Brands in India. I would like to thank Spirits Magazine and IFBA for the initiative We Care. Today I am going to present you two of our newly introduced brands, namely Craig Lucky and Martin Fierro. When we talk about single malts, we associate them with 5 different regions of Scotland, namely Highland, Lowland, Speyside, Campbelltown and Islay. Each of these regions have their own unique way of producing whiskies. And when we talk about specifically Speyside, the whiskies from Speyside are known to be fruity and floral. However, the bad boy of Speyside, also known as the old-fashioned style of whiskey, is because Craigellachie still uses the old ways or the traditional ways of whiskey production. It is known as the bad boy because of its heavier and robust flavors, which are developed because of those traditional style of whiskey production. The reason it is called Craigellachie is because of the rock which is in the heart of Speyside. Craigellachie is covered, or Craigellachie is surrounded by various other distilleries in the Speyside. In fact, Craigellachie was founded by two legendary friends and producers known as Edward and Mackey. Peter Mackey was a known whiskey producer, and Alexander Edward was a businessman and philanthropist. Alexander Edward, in fact, converted his own house into hospitals so that he could help the needy. We are happy with the collaboration with the Spirits magazine and IFBA because of our founders' mentality, and we learn to help people from our founders. Craigellachie still uses old-fired malts. We are the only distillery in the entire Scotland to use the old-fired malts, which gives much more heavier and richer flavors. Oil-fired malts are associated with adding sulfur flavors to the whiskies. Historically, sulfur flavors has been no-no for whiskey production, and the distillers and the whiskey producers refrain from talking about sulfur flavors in their whiskies. But we realized that as our whiskey matured, or as Craigellachie matured for a long period of time, those sulfur flavors were developed into much more complex and robust flavors. The game of copper contact, the low amount of copper contact, develops our whiskies which are much more muscular, and hence when you compare a Craigellachie from any other Speyside whiskey, this is much more flavorful, robust and more energetic. Craigellachie at 46% alcohol by volume is a known non-chilled filtered whiskey. Now when we talk about chilled filtered whiskies, those are the whiskies which are frozen at around 0 to 2 degrees Celsius, so that all those proteins inside the whiskey get coagulated, and those are removed through the fine mash. However, for Craigellachie, we do not follow a non-chill filtered, we do not follow the chill filtered process, and hence our whiskies are as real as it could get, because there is no adulteration, there is no removal of any sort of those natural flavors into the whiskey. We do not add caramel into our whiskies. Usually the new mixed spirit is white in color, and when it goes into oak barrels, it gets its golden color from those oak barrels. However, Stephanie McLeod, who is the master blender for our entire portfolio of whiskies, right from Duos, Craigellachie, Altmore, Royal Barclay, believes that she does not need to add any colors to the Craigellachie because she wants to keep it as natural as it can. And that's why none of the Craigellachie range has color added to it. Though it is believed that the caramel color does not add any flavors to the whiskies, it only adds the color, or it is used to have a kind of standardized whiskey product. When we talk about the tasting profile of Craigellachie, I have Craigellachie 13 along with me, and the uniqueness of this particular whiskey is the overall Craigellachie range is that it is also a whiskey which is used in the production of Duos. So whenever we get a tasty for a tasting, we should always analyze the color of the whiskey. The color of the whiskey will tell you how long it is aged. There are a lot of times, of course, the caramel color could be kind of add mass to the whiskies, and it might be difficult to understand the age. However, it is a good way of knowing whether the whiskey is good or not, because I believe that the whiskey should not be cloudy at this point in time when it is neat and poured into your glass. Always look at the color, then have a nosing of the whiskey neat. So just dip your nose into the glass and understand the flavors of the whiskey. At this point in time, you're sensing the flavors. You're trying to understand what are different flavors that are there into this whiskey, and later on you could just have a sip of this whiskey. Roll the whiskey on your palate, in the roof of your palate, and understand the flavors of this whiskey. If you want to understand any whiskey further, you could add a drop of water to the whiskey. What the drop of the water does to the whiskey is that it brings out the flavors of the whiskey. Initially you will see some oil being separated from the whiskey. Just swirl it further, and then again just nose it. One tip while you're smelling any of the whiskey or any of the spirit is that always keep your mouth slightly open, because if you close your mouth and directly take a sniff of the whiskey, the strong aromas of alcohol will hit your nose and it will numb your nose for some time. That means it will restrict you from understanding the flavors of the spirit that you are smelling. Adding water opens up the whiskey and releases its very delicate aromas, and that's what I could feel, the difference between tasting the Craigellachie without neat or with addition of some water. And the flavor profile that I really like about Craigellachie, that is it has roast pineapple, marshmallow, vanilla flavor. These are the flavors which I really enjoy in this particular whiskey, and it is so nice to let this whiskey sit on your palate and evolve over a period of time, and that's the way you enjoy your single malts, right? However, in case if you like to drink it at all, then we recommend having a Craigellachie with soda, making it like a highball of the Craigellachie single malt. Or if you like it with some other mixes, feel free to experiment and enjoy Craigellachie. But one thing that I want to guarantee you with Craigellachie is that every sip of Craigellachie is going to be unique. Every sip of Craigellachie is going to be different than any other Speyside whiskey you have ever tried, and that's my guarantee. So the next brand that I'm going to talk about today is Martini Fierro. We have been away from our friends and family since almost 2 years. What else could be a better beverage to enjoy our friendship and family other than Martini? We believe friendship takes time. True friendship takes Martini time. Introducing Martini Fierro in India. Fierro means power and intensity in Italian language. It was founded by Alexander Martini and Luigi Rossi, and that's the brand name Martini and Rossi. In fact, it is a vermouth, and a lot of people misunderstand vermouth totally. Let me decode the concept of vermouth to you all. Vermouth is a fortified aromatized wine. So when I say fortified aromatized wine, what I mean to say is that it is a base wine. All vermouths start as a white wine first, and after that, once the white wine is made with say Trebbiano or Cataretto grape varietals, additional aromatized alcohol is added to it. This entire process is known as fortification. Now, if the alcohol is flavored with herbs and spices and botanicals, in the case of vermouth, and hence it is called aromatized fortified wine. Understanding that vermouth is the wine first, it needs to be refrigerated and has to be served at around 7 to 8 degrees Celsius. Vermouth has to be served chilled and kept into the refrigerator. That's the basis of storing and sustaining vermouth for a longer period of time. Usually, vermouths are enjoyed either on its own or with, say, tonic water, or you could try it with soda. Martini Fiero is something which is specifically made to be mixed with tonic water in the ratio 1:1. So, for example, if you're taking 75 ml of, say, Martini Fiero, you need to add 75 ml of tonic water. Made with hand-picked botanicals and the main backbone flavor of Vanwood and Murica orange juice from Spain. This martini is a perfect aperitivo style drink for early evenings, brunches, and any time of the day actually. This also becomes a low alcohol cocktail when you try it with different combinations of spirits and mixers, and you can sip on Martini Fiero throughout the day. Do try this Martini Fiero whenever you have an opportunity, and I'm guaranteeing you that you will enjoy the flavors, the refreshing characteristics of Martini Fiero whenever you try it. I hope you enjoyed the session. Do like, follow the Spritz TV, and hope to see you all soon in person. Cheers.